Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Geelong Zone with Coach Lucas here. Yesterday, I posted a cricket video, and I said that to keep the channel relevant, we must keep producing content. I didn't want to turn into a cricket show. However, I have got content for you today. It's a football content. So back to normal for now. This won't be a long video. I know the McSweeney video was about 15, 20 minutes. That won't be this long. I'll try to do this video in about 5, 6 minutes. But today's topic will be stop comparing Neale to Tom Hawkins. They are different players altogether. And I'm going to finally put this to bed. I'm going to put this argument to bed. I've got little brackets here that I'm going to show on the screen. And I'm going to end this debate once and for all. Now, Geelong currently are trying to get Charlie Curnow to Geelong. They've offered, their first offer was 3 first-round draft picks. Carlton said, thank you, no thanks. They want a player, whether it's Myers, Dempsey, Neale. Good luck with the first 2. I think Neale and Curnow, I think that's a good trade. I think that's a very good trade, in my opinion. Geelong get a ready-made player now, because Shannon Neale is not ready now. He's not a ready now player. He's not, he's not kicking 4 or 5 goals every week. And Carlton get a forward for the next 10 years. I think that's a very good trade. Geelong's motto is winning now. That's their motto. They have never gone to the draft. They've never flunked out for 2-3 years. A couple of years ago, they finished, I think, 9th or 10th. That was a bad year. So their motto is all about winning now. All right, Charlie Curnow fits that better than Shannon Neale. Right, so I think that's a very good trade. Both teams will like. What I wouldn't like to see if Sydney come out of nowhere and offer a player, and then Curnow kicks 70 goals a year, and Neale can't even kick 40. That would make me very upset. But this video is stop comparing. Yeah, I'm going to compare them. I'm actually going to compare them to end this debate once and for all. I'm sick of media comparing these two. Every time something Neale does, he's big and strong like Tom Hawkins. Oh, he kicks like Tom Hawkins. He marks like Tom Hawkins. Even Geelong fan channels, the Hoops crew, annoy me every time. Shout out to Ben and Paul. Shout out to the Hoops crew. Make sure you follow them on YouTube. But every time Hoops crew, Ben and Paul particularly, Neale does something good, has to go down to Tom Hawkins. Stop it. Stop that. But I'm going to end this once and for all. Right, I've got a little bracket here. This is going to be so good. I don't know how this is going to go. Right, so I've got key elements here on who is the better player. Now, I understand Neale is young, but Neale's been at the club for a very long time. It's not like Neale's only been there 2 years. He's had to wait a long time to get an opportunity. Right? So I can understand people will say, well, he's still young, he's still developing. Some of these stats that I'm about to show you does not matter. It doesn't matter if he's 19 years of age or 160 centimeters or 12 kilos. It doesn't matter. Right? Hey, Coach Jazelenko says, hey, Coach. Hello, Jazelenko. So, marking. I've got Tom Hawkins by a country mile. In the finals, we saw Shannon Neale drop absolute dollies. That has nothing to do with age or development. He dropped dollies. It's like a cricket player. Makes his debut for Australia, 19 years of age, puts him in the slips. No excuse for dropping absolute sodas in the slips. That's for Shannon Neale. No excuses. Stupidest comparison ever. I agree, mate. So dropping dollies has nothing to do with age or how young Shannon Neale is or how many games he's played. That's got nothing to do with it. I'm not talking about the heavy contested marks because I've got another graphic for that. But I'm talking about just marking the ball. He drops so many, Shannon Neale. So many. Too many. It's nothing to do with age. Right, maybe this one has a little bit to do with it. Second effort. Bring the ball down to the grounds. I've got Tom Hawkins. I think Tom Hawkins was an absolute master of this. His second effort was always in there. I don't think Neale's second effort is bad, but he does struggle to bring the ball to ground against a top defender. We saw that in the finals. Would you put Neale up to swap to get Curnow? Absolutely. I think that's a win-win for both situations. I think both clubs will be happy with that. There's going to be some anger for the first couple of months, but with all due respect, if Curnow kicks 60 goals, we're going to say Shannon Neale who? And if Shannon Neale's got Carlton for the next 10 years, Carlton are going to say, well, Charlie Curnow who? I think that's a win-win for both clubs. Saints being cunts with Marshall, yeah. Well, we're in trouble with the ruckman, aren't we? We need a ruckman badly. And looks like that's not going to happen, so we're going to have to deal with Stanley. Having said that, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm surprised we're not having a look at Darcy Fort, who was with Geelong before. He went to Brisbane. He's learned, I think he's a much better player since he was at Geelong. Two-time premiership ruckman. I would like to see us go for Darcy Fort because they've got Draper, they've got Oscar McInerney, they've got three key ruckmen. So I'd look into it. If I was Geelong, I'd look into that Darcy Fort. I really would. See what's out there. See what Brisbane want for him. Because if I'm Darcy Fort, they've just got Sid Draper, Oscar McInerney. That they want Brisbane have made it clear they want him in the team. Not much room for a third ruckman. Who plays three ruckmen in the AFL these days? So that's a very interesting decision. So if I'm Geelong, I'm looking at Darcy Fort. They are completely different players. Hawkins and Neale, people only compare them because Neale came in and played in the same position as Hawkins. Absolutely. That's right. That's it. That's all that is. I can't do one more season of Stanley. No. Yeah, he looked gone in that grand final, didn't he? Didn't do much. But second effort, bringing the ball down to the ground, Hawkins by a mile. This one is interesting. Goal kicking. So I'm talking about goal kicking from 40 out, 30 out, 20 out. I think Neale just he's a very good kicker. I'll give him credit. There's a breaking news. Lucas gives Shannon Neale credit. I think Neale is a better goal kicker at this stage, So I will give Neale some credit there. He's a very good kick for goal. He's very accurate. We saw that goal in the grand final, though he didn't do much in that grand final. When he did get opportunity, that goal outside 50, he's pretty good. So I will give him that. I'll say Neale just. So that's a tick to Neale. Neale is a great set show, but so was Hawk. Yeah, I think Neale just at this point, still take goal after the sign for my life. I was going to put clutch moments, but Shannon Neale hasn't actually had any clutch moments yet. So I didn't put clutch. Rucking. This is a very important thing. Hawkins by a mile for me. Now maybe because Neale is young, hasn't so much experience, but their body type is pretty similar. Shannon Neale's not a small man. He's a big, strong man. And that's the most frustrating thing. When he gets ragdolled by lesser opponents, you just scratch your head thinking, how can that happen? A big man like that. For me, Hawkins, he's one of the all-time greatest ruck forwards, in my opinion. Kicked a lot of goals from the ruck. A master at it, Tom Hawkins. So that's not even close for me. But that's overall as Hawk does everything better except Neale's better runner. But yeah, Neale is a better. It's funny you mention that because I'm actually going to bring that up. Hawks by a country mile in the ruck is not even close. I absolutely agree. Now, the last one I've got, as Jazelenko just mentioned here, is you lost me. I lost it. Okay, work rate, Neale. I think Neale is a better runner. This is not an indictment on Tom Hawkins, but Neale is the better runner. I think Neale does work rate a little bit better. He pushes up the grounds more than Tom Hawkins. Tom Hawkins was your traditional full forward. Just stay there. We'll kick the ball down to your throat. Thought you were gone, mate. Yeah, I thought I was too. When you press I'm glad I didn't press end. I just accidentally left the studio. But work rate, Neale pushes up the ground more. Hawkins, like I said, it was a traditional full forward. Just stay there, mate. We'll kick the ball down to your throat. No need to come up. Neale by, I'll give you that. I'll give Neale that. Neale by an absolute mile. Does push up the ground a lot. It has the better endurance in my opinion. So this includes endurance, also running power. So I think Neale is a little bit better than that. Well, not a little bit, but I think he's much better because he's been worked into doing that. Tom Hawkins was never really worked into, being a power runner. Run outside 450, take marks outside 450 like a Cameron does. Hawkins never really did that. So I'll give Neale that one. But the main key stats. So we've got Hawkins tick for the marking. Hawkins for second round, bringing the ball to ground. Let's be honest, Neale was embarrassing against Andrews. Fine, you don't have to make every contested mark a win. That's fine, but at least bring the ball to ground, man. Just do something. Goal kicking, Neale just. Rucking, Hawkins by an absolute mile. That's not even a debate. And work rate, Neale. So Hawkins by a mile. Now, again, this is where he's young. Neale's young. But they're two different players. That's got to do. Neale can't mark anything, mate. Yeah. Better mark too. Yeah, we covered the marking. We covered that. But this what it comes down to: work rate, endurance, running power. Completely different players. With all due respect, how many times would you see Hawkins, on the centre side wings taking a mark? Neale's done that a couple of times. I don't remember Hawkins ever doing that. So that's what that has came down to. So they are completely different players. He missed the marking. He's missed the marking. Yeah, that's not even close. And I'm not talking about contested marking either. I'm just talking about just marking the ball. He drops too many dollies. That has nothing to do with age whatsoever. Nothing to do with age. Work rate and running. That's Neale for me. Yeah, I think we can't. There's no debate with that one. Because, like I said, Neale was a traditional power forward. He just stayed in there where everyone kicked it down to his throat. And then he was a great contested mark, Tom Hawkins. But they are different players. This whole point of this video is, let me get rid of this. They are whole different players. They're not even the same player. The only thing they got relevant, as Jelilenko said, they play in the same position. That's it. That is it. So if I played football, if I played for Sydney at 4 forward, am I going to get compared to Tony Lockett? That'd be disrespectful, absolutely disrespectful. I'd feel embarrassed if anyone said that. I think the only time me and Plugger have got something in common is our weight. That's about it. But so I probably would take that. But no, they're completely different players. There was a trade period. I said this wouldn't be a 20-minute video, yet 30 minutes in. So I'll just say this and wrap it up. If a swap deal happens and it will involve draft picks, we're going to be angry the first couple of months. But like I said, if Charlie kicks 60 goals next year for Geelong and Neale does what he does for Carlton for 10 years, no one's going to care. No one's going to be upset. We will move on pretty quickly. Players have left Geelong. Players have came to Geelong. GWS, they've moved on from Cameron. Yeah, they were probably angry at the start. Everybody was angry that Cameron picked Geelong. But at the end, no one cares now. Nobody cares. And GWS have found a couple of good gun forwards in Cadman who might end up in Geelong one day. So if he ever wants to come home. So everyone moves on. We all move on. Like, for example, if we traded Dangerfield for Caleb Sarong, we're going to be angry. Well, actually, we would take that deal because we get a player for an inside mid ball for 10 years. Dangerfield's probably got 1 year at best, and I think he should have retired. We all be angry with that trade, especially Geelong fans. Oh, how can you get rid of a club legend? Sarong plays for us for 10 years. We say, yeah, in the end, it was worth it. So, we all move on in time with different things. It's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, we're angry. If that happens, I'm sure there's a lot of the fan base would be angry. A lot of the fan base supports Neale. But at the same time, he's not the player everyone thinks he is. That's the problem. And it will be forgotten very quickly. Or flip side is Curnow could do his hamstring, do an ACL, and then we probably even get him more angry. But if it all goes well, if a swap deal happens and it all goes well, all the best to Neale. We get a player that can kick 60 goals a year alongside Cameron. And that's our motto. That is Geelong's motto, winning now. Never been a draft team. They've never bottom out, trade picks, have 3 first rounders, 3 top 10ers. They've never had that. They've never been a West Coast. Who've get pick 1 and pick 2. Never been like that. They don't believe in it. They want players now. Want free agents or players that want out of their clubs. They want to go back home. We all move on in time. So it really doesn't matter. Winning now. That's Geelong's motto. Winning now. If we came out and said, you know what, maybe we should work on draft picks, maybe we should work on this, I'd probably say, you know what, Neale has to stay for 10 years. But I'm going by what the Geelong board are going by, the Geelong CEO, the inside the 4 walls. Our motto is winning now, contending every year. And at this point in time, going by what they say, Curnow is a better player than Neale at this point in time. Until they say otherwise, I'm going to believe that. I want Curnow over Neale. Now, if we can get Curnow without giving away Neale or Myers or Dempsey, I think that's ridiculous. By the way, we're not going to give up Dempsey or Myers. If you want to give up Dempsey, we want something better than with all due respect, Charlie Curnow. Myers is going to be around us for 10 years. Dempsey's going to be us for 10 years. He's a 250 possible game player, Dempsey. The way he's going, give us something back than Curnow. We need a ruckman more, mate. Yeah, we do. And this is why I said Darcy Fort from Brisbane. If I'm Darcy Fort, I'm thinking, right, am I going to be shut out here? Brisbane love Oscar McInerney. They seem to want to play the big O. And then they've got Sid Draper. They're not going to put Sid Draper on ice after signing a big contract. It's not going to happen. So if I'm Geelong, I'm inquiring about Darcy Fort. He's a good ruckman. He's a very good ruckman as well. Pushes up, pushes back, pushes forward. He's really good. Made Stanley look stupid. So it can't be that bad. At times Stanley's been serviceable. He looked really slow against Fort. Looked slow in general. Bring Darcy back, you reckon? Absolutely. Absolutely. Might get him even cheaper. Darcy Fort says, you know what, I've won 2 flags with Brisbane. Don't think they're going to play me. I think when it comes to crunch time, if we did make a grand final, I reckon they'd play Draper in the Big O. No point me sticking around. If I go to a team like Geelong, I'll play 22 games plus finals, plus the grand final. Don't think we can say that if you played for Brisbane. Mate, Stanley is the GOAT. Stanley is the GOAT. We love Stanley. We love Stanley. Premiership ruckman. But, move the times. Or the times moves you. It's a famous saying. And at this point in time, times are moving with Stanley. But it doesn't help with that, St Kilda being mean. I get St Kilda what they're doing. They want the best offer. I don't blame them for that. I don't blame Carlton for rejecting 3 first-round picks. They have every right. They have every right. Like Petraga. No, Melbourne said to Crows, no, we want players. Have every right. Just because a player wants to request a trade doesn't mean a club should fold. Let's be honest. If Dempsey said, I want to trade to Brisbane, Carlton or whatever, I'd be gutted if we just gave up a first-round pick. Play hardball. What else would you give up for Curnow? Well, I wouldn't give up Dempsey or Myers, but We got Neale. I think Neale, honestly, Neale and a draft pick, first round. I think that's good for both teams. Winning now, motto. We get Curnow. They get a forward for 10 years. That seems like a fair trade. Seems like a very good trade. Maybe he'll develop better in Carlton. Maybe. We have a lot of French players. We do. Never. I like Never. I really did like Never, but Chris Scott doesn't want to play him. Ted Closey's a good finisher. Never. Who's the other one? Who's the other debut we played this year? If you can help me out, I forgot his name. So Closey, Nevitt. Who's the other one? Forgot his name. Wiltshire and Clark. Yeah. So Wiltshire is the other one who debuted with us. So we're not going to get rid of Jack Stevens. Sorry, Stevens. How can I forget Jack Stevens? That just tells you a lot, doesn't it? We're not going to get rid of Ollie Henry. No, we're not going to get rid of Ollie Henry. We just got Ollie Henry. Buse. Well, Buse seems to be very unhappy that he got dropped for that grand final. So George Stevens, yeah. I forgot. Oh, my bad. I forgot. Apologies to George Stevens. But we're not going to give up Ollie Henry. We just got Ollie Henry. Ollie Henry kicked 50 goals. Was it 50 goals in his first year? Almost won us a prelim off his own boot. It's not his fault. He's not playing. But my question is, if you brought him to this club, why aren't you playing him? But Jack Martin was serviceable. I'll have to give credit where credit due. Jack Martin was serviceable. It was pretty good. Conway, Cam Guthrie, Braun, Tanner Braun. I'm glad. Actually, it's actually funny because I'm going to mention this name. I am going to mention Tanner Bruner. Me and Scott from the Jumper Punch. Shout out to the Jumper Punch, good guys. We actually did a video on Tanner Bruner. We actually talked about Tanner Bruner before he was found guilty or not guilty or whatever. And then 48 hours later, he was not guilty. So we found that quite amusing because no one in the Geelong community wanted to actually talk about him, mainly for legal reasons and whatnot. I understand that. And we were being very careful what we were saying. We were saying the word alleged or if, buts and candy nuts. But we found it amusing. We had probably a 5-minute talk about Tanner Bruner with Scott. And 48 hours later, he was not guilty. He was found not guilty. So that was pretty amusing. So if there's any other players I want off, we'll happily talk about them. We'll try our best. Taron Thomas, I don't like your chances of that one. And I don't want Taron Thomas out of our club anyway. Fleeced by some skank in the earlier. Well, we don't know what happened before the courts. Could have been a deal, but we don't know. I hope Tanner can come. Well, hang on. What's this? I'll just answer this question and we'll wrap up. I hope Tanner can come back and play now. It's all behind him. He was picked for my breakout season of the team this year. Yeah, I think, we'll see. We'll see. Has potential to be a good inside player. Has a potential. But we've got Warple now. Maybe there's no room for Tanner. Maybe we don't have any room for Tanner anymore. But here's what it is. 23-minute show. This is not what I wanted. I wanted a quick 10-minute show. I'm here for 23 minutes. Oh, dear. I want to watch the cricket. I want to watch India and West Indies. More content is coming, but we need clearance players too. Yes, we do. We do need clearance players. Sorry, champ. That's all good. It's all good. I've got a library of videos. I've made one video. That's the Melcats video. And I said yesterday I'm very hesitant to release that because there's a lot of people involved with that, and I don't really want to shove a certain person. But sometimes it needs to be said. She was very important in my life. And I think it's right. But I've got a library. I've got an actual library of lists. Though I haven't done them because I have to go live. I do have concept videos about certain things. So I have a lot of videos, a lot of content. Some are cricket stuff. summer AFL stuff. So there's a couple on the library. I've got one regarding trade, so I'm going to bring try to bring some guests on. Hopefully, some guys on the Jumper Punch, maybe Bo or Scott, maybe Kiri from the Hoops crew. Maybe I can get him on. We can talk about trades. I want to talk about some rules. I want to talk about some potential changes if someone agrees or someone doesn't agree. Like, let's say, for example, do you agree with the nighttime grand final? I want to bring on some guests for that. So I've got those plans. It's up to the guests. I don't rush things. If they say no, I'll leave it. If they say, yeah, I want to do it at this time, I'll do it at that time. So I do have a long library of stuff I want to get off. Some cricket. I'm going to the Sheffield Shield on next Wednesday. It's going to be a 30-degree day. How about that? This is the first time since February we've had a 30-degree day in Adelaide, and we are in mid-October. That is a joke. That is an absolute joke, because it's going to be 30 degrees on Wednesday, the day one of the Sheffield Shield, and with all due respect, I'm not missing that. Adelaide Oval on the 30-degree day. I do love the summer. I love the heat. I play in the heat. I played in the heat for about 10, 15 years. Sometimes brutal 45-degree days as a keeper. So they were fun. They were really fun. But we've got stuff I want to produce. Stuff that I want to record and get out. But anyway, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate the likes and views. As I said, whether I get 1 or 100, that doesn't matter to me. I just want to talk about this and hear people's opinions on things. So this has been Lucas of the Geelong Zone. That will be beautiful. It will be. 30-degree day. Ooh, 30-degree day, man. In summer, it's too bloody cold. Get it up to 40. Stuff everyone. I want it 40, man. I want to watch the cricket in 40-degree heat. I don't want to watch the cricket in bloody 25-degree heat. What is that? That's not summer. Might as well fucking have it in winter. I mean, you might as well book it in the middle of the cricket in the middle of winter if you're going to have it at fucking 25 degrees. But we'll see you next time on the Geelong Zone. Thank you very much.